Hello, Kartika. Good evening. Hey, I guess your mic is muted. Your mic is muted. Your mic is muted.
Yes, Steve. Yes, Steve. How are you?
Yes.
Thank
Fine, thank you. How are you?
Yeah,
Start video Alt plus V. What's this new one? Alt plus V. Okay. Am I visible?
no. Yes. Yes.
Visible now?
Yeah.
Okay. Where do you see me? I cannot see myself, but you cannot start video. Fail to start camera. Please select another video camera. What's this? Okay, that's the setting. Just give me a minute.
Yes.
I've-
Yes.
Got it. Am I visible now?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You're visible.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much. I'll just pause it for a while. I'll enable it once we start the meeting.
Yes, sir. Sure.
Just for another few minutes.
Okay. Yes, Preeti. We'll begin.
Tenacious Thursday to all. If we knew what we were doing, it would not be called research, would it? With this quote, it is my pleasure to welcome you all to the fourth day of the 8 days online International Faculty Development Program on Research Methodology. I am Preeti and I have the honor of serving as your MC for this special occasion. I am privileged to welcome a distinguished guest speaker for the day, Mr. Stephen Jayamani Timothy, lecturer, Foundation Program, Doha University, Sultanate of Oman, and who has been so kind to accept our invitation and is here to share his expertise and enlighten us on the topic research ethics. Before we get into the lecture, I would like to share a short introductory note about our key speaker of the day. His thirst for work had attained different places for 6 years and 6 months. His publications in international and national journals has to be talked about. Voice of the Voiceless, a boost to improve second language communication skills, makes us to gaze upon his skills. Honoring a person cannot be without a valuable reason. In that way, his honors Badminton Champion, Best Paper Award in National Seminar at NGP College of Education, Coimbatore, first place in musical solo at Bharatiya University, winners in basketball tournament at Government Arts College, Udagamandalam. And before we get into the lecture, I once again welcome you, sir. We are eager to hear from you and the platform is all yours, sir.
Right. Thank you so much for the introduction. Good evening. It's my pleasure again to be a part of this International Faculty Development Program. And I am here and I'll have to acknowledge a few people before I start and go ahead with the session that they have given us. The first thing is I always thank God Almighty for this chance. And because this, if you believe it or not, is my first time addressing a gathering online and that to a huge audience like you. They're sitting behind the screens and watching things that are going to happen for the next 1 hour. The next person that I should really thank is the coordinator, the convener, and those who have organized this program, especially my dear friend, let me call her my friend, Dr. S.V. Kartiga. We've known each other for more than 10 years, and it's been a wonderful relationship that as academicians we could share and discuss things around. So I would really thank her for giving me this chance and especially asking me to come for a session like this and to share all what I could do from my session here. So with this, let's just start. And as you all people know that I am a teacher, like a so-called teacher here. So you know what a teacher's job is. And I just wanted to make sure that it is interactive, that you communicate with me, that you keep sharing your thoughts and everything through the chat options that are there, so I can just go through it and see. In the meantime, suppose if I miss something, I would request Ms. Kartiga, Dr. Kartiga, to just keep me, just unmute your mic and then tell me that I have missed some chat, and then I can make sure that I can address whatever the things that are going to be there. As I have just stated that I am a teacher, and I would also expect the teacher's vibe and flow throughout the session. So please don't hesitate, please don't feel to share your expertise. It's not that since I am doing a presentation here, I am a man of knowledge and wealth. No, definitely not. I know people behind me and those participants over there should be more wise and intelligent and whatnot. So let's appreciate everyone for that. Okay, now for this evening session, let me start with a small activity that I have it here for our people. Okay. Just give me a second. There you go. All right. Give me a minute, please. Technology. Okay. Share the sound. Close it. All right. I guess you're able to see my screen. Suppose if you're just able to see my screen, if it's visible, can maybe Dr. Karthika can raise your hands.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It's visible.
Thank you. Thank you. That's really nice. All right. There is a topic that we are going to deal today, and this is something which most of us in this group would be very familiar with. All right. I guess that is a known topic for every one of us. But this evening, let's also just go through some of those points again to make sure that we refresh our memories and get all those things that are necessary as academicians, as research people over in this society, that we should learn. We should make sure that we strictly adhere. We should stick to these things and follow them and practice them in our day-to-day research life. So I have some sentences here. Yeah. All right. I have 7 sentences here. All right. Now, I just wanted you to quickly go through these sentences. They are long. They are a bit lengthy. I admit that. But I would request you to go through those 7 sentences. And then, 1 minute. How is it that I missed it? Just give me a minute, please. Okay, I took the wrong slide, and I hope you can see those 7 sentences here. When you read through those 7 sentences, please take at least 1 minute to go through all those 7 sentences and tell me what's wrong. And tell me what is wrong. Every sentence has something to do with. You can also get into your chat options, or you can unmute your mic. If your internet strength is really good, and then you can also unmute your mic and then you can tell it, or you can use your chat boxes. Thank you. I'm sorry if I guess, okay. Is it visible? Are all those lines visible?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It's visible.
All right. Thank you. Thank you.
We have one participant who has pointed out its point number 6. So,
Okay, point number 6.
statement is wrong.
All right, let me just check. Okay, the last statement is wrong. Okay, the last statement is wrong. So it means that you can accept those 5 statements that are on top. I should thank you for your contribution. Those whoever it is, if it's a ma'am or a sir, like take your credits now. Thank you so much.
And another participant have told it's unethical practice.
Okay, it is an unethical practice, and that's nice. Like maybe it'll be better if you can pass those comments to me. That will also be nice. It's good to be interactive.
Yes, sir. Another participant has told that a researcher may start new problem.
Okay, all right. You're slowly coming up. All right, that's nice. It's a very easy set of question and answer that are over here. And you can just go through those lines. You can see what is wrong in those sentences that I have given there. Okay, manipulation in 4. All right, thank you. All right, 4, modify, may start a new problem. All right, number 6. That's nice. How many participants are here? As I told you, I am a teacher and I would expect the same vibe. It's not just wearing your headsets. I know you'll be busy. I know it is your family time. I know all those, but like, please contribute so it will be really nice. Because as I told you, this is a very well-known topic. If I keep sharing all my slides, though I'll be doing it in another few minutes, but if it's interactive, that will be really nice.
So we have one participant who has told that research is not about doing things that they are already done, the other person's perspective, and it should never be general.
Okay, thank you. So you've almost covered all those statements that are there here in this particular slide. I will just display them again. now take another 30 seconds, not more than 30 seconds, please. 30 seconds to quickly read through it. I guess you've gone through it. So this is what is research. But when we went through the first particular slide, we see that the major area, the focus of the research was completely twisted for an individual person's benefit, which is totally wrong. And that's the place where ethics come into matter. And that's the place where research misconduct has been happening. And so today, this evening, we'll have to focus more on areas, the places where we'll have to make sure that we strictly adhere to certain rules and regulations, and places that we'll have to check ourselves where we'll have to clear our level of learning, way of learning, and bring them into a healthy practice. So as we just keep pondering into these ideas, I just have one more short video, which will really help us from understanding it more better. Why is it that research ethics came into this world? Is there something special that this research ethics is needed for our people? You should ask a question usually like, what goes into your mind? Is it really necessary as academician? I know what's happening around. And do you want me to again learn something from it? Yes, of course. It is started in a particular place. And from there, it has happened that every particular research will have to follow certain norms, will have to follow certain conditions and rules and regulations. I'll just play a very short piece of a video that's from the YouTube, which will definitely help us to have a better understanding on why this ethics of research has been introduced. Because now, if you watch through this video, you will definitely get this understanding. Also, please let me know if the audio is available.
Happen in any discipline.
Yes, sir.
The Piltdown Man, one of the most famous frauds in archaeology, was accepted as the missing evolutionary link between apes and early humans for decades. However, the remains were actually from two known species, filed and stained to look like a new one. This dishonesty discredited accurate findings of early human remains in Asia and Africa, delaying the process of understanding human history. Another example, the Tuskegee experiment, was designed to study the effects of syphilis in black men without their informed consent. Even after penicillin became a known cure for the disease, researchers did not provide adequate treatment to their participants, who eventually died or experienced severe, long-term health problems as a result of syphilis. Finally, the Monster Study was conducted at the University of Iowa to find a cause or cure for stuttering. 22 orphan children who were unaware that they were participants in this study were given either positive speech therapy, which included praise, reassurance, and encouragement, or negative speech therapy, which included belittlement and immediate criticism. Some of the children who received negative speech therapy retained speech problems throughout their lives. There are different reasons.
All right, so if we had just understood the reason behind why is it that it is necessary, when was this particular research ethics introduced? There were many places where the world in which we live twisted things, used things for their own benefits. So that was the place where research ethics came into literal being. And when this particular event happened, the first serious event happened, the Nazis, the doctors who literally tortured those the patients to make sure that their research becomes successful. That is the place where they had to get into the real field and make sure that they set some norms. These are some of the norms that the Nuremberg Code consisted of 10 basic ethical principles that the accused violated. The doctors violated these. And when you just quickly read through those, it says that research participants must voluntarily consent to research participation. You might ask me a question, being from an arts and science humanity department, what will I have to do with a research participant? We can never be exempted. We can say, okay, I guess that there are many other field of people also participating in this particular event. If you're so, I'm very happy. But if most of you are from arts and science humanities department, I still have this question for you. When you are involving a research participant, what are the criteria that you are following? What are the things that you have in your mind? Are you really following certain norms and regulations? And are you making sure that you are strictly adhering to those guidelines that the university has said, that the research committee has said? So this is my question. We can never be exempted from it. These people might argue that these research participants, it goes for the medical term, it goes for the medical field. Never. They can do it physically, all right, that's on one side. But for us, you are dealing with the emotional part of it, the physical side of it, the face side of it, and everything is again considered. So we can never again neglect this participant type of involvement in any research. So if you had, maybe I guess you would have gone quickly through all those points that they have brought. They made sure that even the research participant had been given a consent before what is going to happen. And not only just taking the consent, even explaining the minimal risk and the maximum risk that they would be undergoing. And if that is a positive or negative, everything must be clearly visible. And also the insurance part also comes inside it. There are many other things that when you have time, maybe you can go through all those slides, because it's again an ocean getting into a participant. And though I have something to share for you, but I would 100% request you, or maybe like ask you to go for it and just simply sit and read through all those guidelines that they have set, not now, maybe 100 years back. So that is something really to be considered. If we have this in our mind, now next you might have a question. So in spite of all these norms and conditions, why is it that there is misconduct in research? Like, I just have two ideas here. One is a theory that states that most of the scientists are highly ethical and they do not do any wrong. Only researchers who are morally corrupt, economically desperate, or psychologically disturbed, they commit misconduct. This theory supports it. There are reasons for, reasons against this. And then the next one is like, there is a stressful or imperfect environment theory. Here it means that, look at all those points here. When you are working in a particular place, you are put under an institutional pressure. For you to survive, you need some extra incentives. Not only just surviving at home and in the society, to survive in an institution, you'll have to publish and obtain grants, or like make sure that your contract is renewed. And then it doesn't stop there. There are career ambitions too. And then there is this pursuit of profit and fame. You believe it or not that this is happening recently. Whenever you address someone there, I would again admit it, I appreciate the person who literally introduced me. But again, one point that is noted was they focus more on the research publications that we have. It's common. I don't say it is wrong. But again, for profit and fame, that it is wrong. And then when there is poor supervision of students and trainees and poor oversight of researchers, this is the place where misconduct happens. So we'll have to really and seriously consider what is it and how are we going to get into some measures. Okay, now going into it, now I've been also stating what a research is. There are some common definitions, and which you people who definitely know about it. I'm just showing them here. We can just quickly have a look at it. It is actually a French word. It means that you'll have to really have a quest. You'll have to search. You'll have to be in pursuit, and you'll have to search for truth and for knowledge. All right. It is all completely new. Though your research can be based on facts and findings from the others, but it will have to be new when it comes to your part. It is not something old. That is what we are focusing again. And a person called Clifford Woody, he says that research comprises, it should be defining and redefining problems. You should formulate hypotheses or suggested solutions. You'll have to collect, organize, and evaluate data. And based on all those that you have collected, you'll have to detect and you'll have to reach to a conclusion. And not just conclusions, you'll have to carefully test those conclusions. You're not going to manipulate or do anything for your own. So there is a purpose, again, when we go to the research ethics, you might again have these statements just quickly read through. And what does a research ethics normally, what's the purpose behind it? It helps you to make sure that you access the research freely and access research which are reliable and access research which are conducted by responsible people. And when you follow all these, your researchers will always be followed on a scientific practice. There are methods, there are norms, there are standards that you'll have to apply when you conduct a research. So these are all the purposes. And then we also have some objectives behind these research ethics. So let's just quickly go through those objectives here. And as I've been already stating, The first concept is that humans must be protected. Humans must be protected. Over here in the first point, we see participants especially must be protected, because there are many places, many areas and places where participants are put into a vulnerable situation. That can never be accepted, that can never be tolerated. Human participants must be protected. And then you'll have it, they are here to serve the interests of individuals, like groups and society as a whole, to get the best of all what has been given, and that it is scientifically proven, and it is approved by those research committees and chairs. And so they have to consider the interests of the individual people as well as the groups and the society. And then the last point is to examine specific research activities and projects for their ethical soundness. So these three are considered as the objectives. And now let's just get into some of the other things which will really help us to have a more better understanding. And then if you ask me about those two questions, why is it that there is a norm? Why is it that there is a regulation that we should follow? There is an ethics act which is important to be considered. Ethics act, when you do something wrong, you are questionable, you are reasonable for it. So whenever you are found that you've had a research misconduct, you're answerable to the ethics act. Each country has it, each like department has it. So you'll have to be carefully handling all your researches. So this presumes or presupposes that the research is conducted by the public or by you individuals. You are doing it in accordance with the recognized norms and research ethics. So you'll have to be careful that you are answerable. It's not just being answerable. And then the second one, you have a duty to exert caution to people that research takes place in accordance with recognized norms and ethics. Researchers, 100%, you'll have to understand these two norms and regulations. Why are these very important? Because you are held answerable. All right. So when we have all these in our mind, automatically the next question comes, okay, mister, you've been telling all this. Now, who is it that sets these ethical norms? And on what basis do they set these ethical norms? You might have this question in your mind. Okay, now I just have matched the following situation here. I was not able to, frankly admitting, I was not able to take it into any online gaming platforms, WordWall or Quizlet or Padlet, and then conduct a game. Time is limited. I have this here right there in front. It's a match the following situation. There are 5 principles of ethical decision-making rules and norms and guidances. Those words are mentioned, the explanations are given on the side. I want you to just quickly go through it and match and get me the answers, please. Another 30 seconds. You can use the chat options as soon as you get those answers, and please just pass those answers to us. It's easy. As I said, like, I'm a teacher and I would expect answers. And I know as you are a teacher, how would you feel to answer? So please make sure that you contribute something or the other. Let's learn. These are all keywords. These are words that we daily, regularly learn and get used to it. But just for the sake of an understanding and better learning, refreshing our minds, let's quickly do it. Thank you for those who are contributing in the chat. Okay, your answers are coming up. Thank you. I would also request you to make sure that you get all those alphabets ready and then press the send button so it reaches me all at once. Because as you know, as a teacher, I have the answer keys with me ready, just to save our time. All right. Thank you. Thank you so much for your faithful contributions. Here we go. The next slide will definitely give you the answers for whatever you've given. It's an easy term. It's an easy understood words that are there. And you can just quickly go through them. And you can make sure that these words are strictly followed when you are following or when you're practicing research. And these ethics must be strictly taken to our minds. Always make sure that you respect others. And then you have a big responsibility. And there is always integrity, and competence comes in a healthy way. And then there must be a concern. So those meanings are there, and these meanings will definitely help you. So now let's move to the next particular one. Okay. With these 5 basic guidelines, there are roles and responsibilities for people involved in research. Can you tell me a list of all those people who are involved in the research? One more question, please. Who are all involved in the field of research? Use the chat box, or if you find it difficult to type, please feel comfortable to unmute your microphones and then share your ideas to us.
Good evening, sir.
Yes, sir. Good evening.
Responsibility towards the society, that is, our research work should contribute something to the society.
Yes, of course.
And
thank you so
as
much.
a responsible person, as a researcher, our role should be that something like a guiding force for the next generation, that it should be like that. These are the roles and responsibility, as per my knowledge, a researcher should possess.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate your answers. So thank you so much for contributing your ideas. Okay, now let's get back. Since our dear sir has given us a response, we'll move to the next part of it. When there are roles and responsibilities, there must be someone who plays these, who are responsible for these roles and responsibilities. Who's going to take all these roles and responsibilities? The first set of people are normally, we tag them as researchers. Researchers normally doesn't come under this MPhil, MA, PhD category. It starts over there, but again, you can consider teachers as researchers, supervisors as researchers, project leaders as researchers, and even experts. And then you can still keep adding more under the tab of researchers here. They are individually responsible for research ethics during collaboration or like individual the projects that they are carrying out with. So we are now going to categorize 3 different group of people. The first one that we will see is the researchers category here. And under researchers category, normally when you take a research program into consideration, the first thing that you'll have to consider, as I've been already focusing, is on your research participant. You'll have to be very much careful when you deal with your research participant. For arts and science people, for those who are doing with literature and other parts, I appreciate your the level of understanding, the research that you've been carrying through. That is important. I don't say no. But since we are focusing on the ethics of research, for the arts and science, we have the other parts that are coming at the end of the session. But just before that, we'll focus again on areas where we'll have to seriously consider. For example, a few years back, when a particular student from a well-known university, a reputed university inside Vellore, was to take their research outside. You believe it or not, they strictly went through many rules and procedures and processes to make sure that they reach that particular group of audience. That really struck my mind. Is there something behind it? Is it important that the participant must be considered, and how much of care and concern must be there? So if you look at all those words there, the first thing that I have highlighted is respect the participants, be human to them, show dignity and consider their personal integrity, and then also consider their safety and their well-being. Okay, you might ask me, okay, so to which category of people are you talking about? Imagine if you are going to conduct a research to the tribal area people, or maybe those people who never come to the main picture. If you're going to approach those type of people, you are responsible for everything here. You have to respect the participants. And when you are going to go there and deal with these type of people, as a researcher, your role and responsibility is the first one that you'll have to get the consent form signed. The research that must be conducted must be based on information and consent. You'll have to make sure that you give the information that is necessary there, and then you get their consent. When you get it in a form, you call it the consent form, please make sure that you have all these points that I'm just going to list. I'm not going to talk much, but just please make sure that you have a look at all these points here. These points are very, very much important when you give a consent form, because at any moment, anything can happen. And especially, I guess there are also guides, supervisors here. There are project leaders here. You would be definitely following all these. The research committee members should also be here. You'd be thorough with all these things happening here. But for those who are new to the research field, those who are trying to involve with participants, and those who are trying to make sure that you reach an area where you speak to a human, you deal with a human, and make sure that you conduct a research there, you are supposed to get your attention to this particular slide here. When you sign a consent form, please make sure that you have all those points, point number 1 to point number 9, saved in your mind, especially when you're dealing with children, and especially when you're dealing with religious and cultural sensitive areas and issues and information. You'll have to be really careful. And there are guidelines, there are things that your research committee members, as well as the university and those other people there inside your place, should definitely be helping you with. So you'll have to make sure that you contribute and concentrate more on this particular one. One key area that I am really going to request you to do it is the place where research ethics must be kept confident and confidential is your maintaining of confidentiality with the person that you're going to try and do it. Because the personal information that you're going to take, that must be kept confidential. The data that you have collected, or that you're going to collect from those people, that must also be kept from unauthorized access. Your confidentiality plays there. No individual will be identifiable. That should be based on a consent form. If they are willing to be exposed, maybe in a video or in a picture, do it. If they are not willing to be visible there, please make sure that you don't do it. All the data, you can also tell them that will be available for a limited period of time. Once the data purpose meets, after maybe 5 years of requirement, and then you are requested to delete it. So the confidentiality area is very much important, and that you'll have to make sure that you seriously focus on those areas. And now the second group of people are the research institutions. We have them, and they also have them. Every university that you go to, every college that you go to, there is something here for the research guidelines that every university is following. By default, they have it. Any website that you go type there, they should have it. So it is their responsibility that they facilitate training and supervision in research ethics. It is 100% needed. And that they must make sure that these research ethics are considered, and then they are clearly defined. You'll have to make sure that every single point goes clearly to them. And then they are conducted in accordance with the norms that the research ethics has. And they are obligated to have investigation committees. Yes, investigation committees, especially when something goes wrong. You have committees there. They are responsible. All those committee members can directly get into things. They can understand, they can see, they can foresee, they can also investigate, analyze what has gone wrong, and they can make sure that they rectify that problem. The institutions have these roles there. And then human participants with ethical implications. You'll have to make sure, as I've been again emphasizing this particular idea, the participants, along with all those ethics that you have for the research, that will have to go hand in hand. You're not going to change anything. You're not going to alter anything. You have to be carefully handling all those areas there. And then institutions must take care that they meet the minimum standard, or the minimum satisfactory standard, before even your research proposal has been accepted or even started. The last point is, after all your research ideas are ready, they must be scrutinized by a group of people. And then research institutions are very much focused, and then they make sure that they follow all these rules that they have for them, for a safety side, for a measure that the society will not face any trouble, that the research people, those who are conducting the research, will not face any trouble, and all those things have been considered here. The third group of people is the research actors. Who are those research actors? They are a team of people. They can be commissioners, they can be funders or sponsored people, and they are collaborators in public or in private sectors. These people have a very important role again to play. When you ask me about what are the roles that they'll have to play in most of the researches that's been conducted or projects that's been taken, sometimes certain things are open and understood by those project leaders. Or even when you talk to people, you can clearly understand. From your years of experience, you can clearly say, what are the things that have been exposed to people? What are the things that have been concealed by the people? Certain things they will never open. But we'll have to make sure that when it comes to a public matter of research, that there must be balance of independence and governance on both those sides. You'll have to balance on both those sides. You'll have to give them necessary governance that they need to conduct the research smoothly. And then you'll have to protect both the institutional autonomy and the individual academic freedom. These people, when they have so much of funds, when they have enough support to make sure that the research has been conducted and development has been taking place there, research actors, they'll 100% have these in their mind. They make sure that there is always institutional autonomy. Autonomy means the freedom that you have. Institutions have their own set of freedom and things to do. And it is also that they should consider that the individual academic freedom is also being maintained, that must be completely protected. So these research actors, they have a major responsibility in it. And that there must be openness in what is happening, that they cannot conceal certain things. As we now recently see, not only recently, it's been decades since this has been happening. Most of it, if you personally ask those people who are taking projects, 100%, there are at least some people who would really say, yes, certain things were not revealed, certain things were concealed, certain things were not open. But you have the right, as an individual researcher, you have the right. If you are belonging to an institution, you have the right to make sure that everything stays open. And then the last point that they should also have in mind is that there is no influence when certain results which you did not expect comes out there, and when that is about to be published, you have nothing to influence them and stop them. You have 100% rights to publish whatever rights you have. That is it, what we are going to see in the next few slides. So I'll just recap all what we have discussed now. Till now, we saw that there are roles and responsibilities. Under roles and responsibilities, every researcher, individual researcher has certain roles and responsibilities. Every institution has roles and responsibilities. Not only that, when it comes to matter of research, those research project providers, the funders, the collaborators, even they have roles and responsibilities here. So now when we go here, you can, again, the next question comes. What is it that constitutes a norm? What makes a norm? What are those type of norms that are available there? And normally when we see, there is something called as the truth norm, your commitment to truth and to integrity. And there are also these methodological norms. When you conduct a research, that must be based on facts. You are going to get ideas that are factual, and then your research must be accurate. And then there is always transparency, and then you are accountable for it. These norms are always helpful. And then there are also common norms, as I've been telling. These common norms are based on dignity of human people. And this is, again, there are 3 points that we can just quickly read through. These, when considered, they are so much concerned about the human being that has been participating there. They have respect for equality and freedom and autonomy, beneficence and protection from the risk of significant harm and unreasonable burdens. And then the last one is justice in procedures and distribution of benefits. When they conduct these norms, institution also has some other norms that they maintain and then show to those people that are available there. Institutions, when they set these norms, they make sure that they secure the researcher's freedom of speech and privacy. Yes, it's 100% needed. They are also confidential of not disclosing anything that is relevant to their research until a certain period of time, and that they are not going to breach into personal information. Yes, institutions are also following these norms. And then that they are securing data from unauthorized access. I talked about this, about the confidentiality that everyone should maintain. And then non-identification of individual data or like person that comes there. And then deletion of data when it is not required. And then individual academic freedom in sharing research knowledge. These points are, again, very much important when institutions are framing their norms. They must have these in their minds. Now comes the next question. I guess there must be some supervisors here. There must be some project leaders here. When you are a project leader, when you are a supervisor, what are the things that you should tell your researchers about? Can you type and chat, please? When you are a project leader or when you are a supervisor, what are the areas that you will tell your research scholars that these are all the ethics that you'll have to be careful? Can you please type those options there on the chat box, please? Okay, if there are very less supervisors here, if there are the upcoming supervisors or project leaders here, what are the areas that you will tell that this can be possible? These areas you will have to be careful when you are writing the research. All right. If there are no answers, I'll just quickly move to all those points there. And these are again well-known points. You've been following all these. The last one is 100% important. Never misuse your position to their own advantage. This is 100% important. Like, we might go through these situations, certain things which come out, okay, are addressed. Certain things which do not come out are not left unaddressed. So we'll have to be careful. These are all areas which, again, that the research supervisor and the project leaders should make sure that they are maintaining it. I believe 99% are doing it. Maybe 1% of people, when they just slip, and there is a problem behind it. So we'll have to make sure that we maintain ethics there. And the next important part comes for all those people. And then what are all those types of research misconducts that are here? And I'll just get the first part here, the plagiarism. Okay, the next question. How many type of plagiarisms are there? Can someone type and get me those answers? Or you can unmute your mic and you can share your answers. What are the type of plagiarisms that are available? It seems after 458, people have vanished away. Okay, thank you. Turnitin software checks, similarity index. Okay, these are all tools to help you identify plagiarism. But my question is, thank you so much, sir. I really appreciate it. And one faithful participant who's been there to support me. I really appreciate it. Okay, and then I'm just asking about the type of plagiarisms that are there. We often do it. And believe me, trust me, I admit it. Whatever slides that are here, whatever information that is here is not my own. It's 100% not my own. It is all derived, taken, and outsourced. Whatever words that you have is from the other sources, not my own. Knowledge is not my own. Whatever I have gathered, whatever I have studied, I'm just sharing it here. So if we now talk about the types of plagiarisms here, there are 3 options there. Thank you. Accidental, direct, okay, copyright. All right, thank you. There are, again, areas that you'll have to consider. Okay, now coming into the type of plagiarisms that are there, I have a short activity here. Let's just make sure that we take it. There is something called as complete plagiarism, or like there's also called as intellectual theft. And then there is a source-based plagiarism. And then there is verbatim plagiarism. And then there is self-plagiarism. There is paraphrasing plagiarism. And then there's mosaic or patchwork plagiarism. You might ask me, sir, what are all these words here? They are familiar to me, but give me some more explanation. All right. Before going there to the task, I'll also get the other type of misconducts, the research misconducts that are happening here. There is a fabrication that takes place there. Fabrication is 100% to be addressed. Just a minute, please. All right. You can also give me ideas about what is fabrication. And you have the next word here. There is something called duplication. And there is something called salmization. And then the last one is influence the review process, influencing the review process. So these are all types of plagiarisms and also the types of misconducts that anyone can easily get into. Now, our focus, we'll get back to the slide in a minute. Now, our focus is here. I've got those words here and those definitions on the right-hand side. You can again match them. Okay, thank you. Thank you for the answers there. Ms. Kartika, you can also, like, if there's anything to send, please send it through my email so I can easily access your message. My mobile is turned off. I will not be able to access it now.
Okay.
All right, thank you. All right. I have another 13 more minutes, right? Okay, let me not take more of your time. Let me just give the answers here. Okay, if these plagiarisms are there, and if you ask me what are those meanings, you can take a screenshot. When you have time, you can quickly go through those words that are there. We do this every day in our day-to-day life. Even when I was using my WhatsApp profile, the profile, with or without my knowledge, I had this never back down. See, I've used those words there on my phone, but I've never quoted who was the person who brought those phrases, those words there. I never mentioned it. So even I'm into this type of plagiarism here. So there are all those type of plagiarisms that are listed here. You can just quickly go through them and then you can see. Then we also have some more types of misconducts that have been easily taken here. Look at all these words here. Forbid participant right to privacy. When a participant is over there helping you to conduct a research and going through your research, when they ask for something that must be maintained within limits, when you break it, when you break their privacy, and that is again misconduct. You'll have to be careful about it. And then insufficient type of citations. This is a common one. We'll have to make sure that we get into a good practice of citation. And then this is one more thing that I've been facing. We've been facing. Everyone knows what's happening. The last one is called as co-authorship. Can I be a co-author? There are rules and guidelines and regulations here. Yes, you can, but only if you contributed substantially to the research and wrote or revised all or part of the manuscript and approved the final version of the entire article. Only if you do these areas, you can become a co-author. Suppose I'll just tell this again. Suppose if you have contributed related to data collection, if you have supervised certain areas, or like if you have funded to a little, you cannot be considered for a co-authorship, wherein you can be acknowledged in footnotes or in preface or in the final remark. I do not know how many of you would agree with me, especially I am for the research scholars. I know what struggle and pain that they have been going through. I've crossed it, and luckily my guide was a very wonderful guide. So I am happy about that particular area. But I've been experiencing, I've been counseling people. I've been looking at researchers and trying to help them and give guidance in areas. This particular one must be addressed. If people are like just going to do certain things which are not very important to their research, they cannot be considered as a co-author. Usually supervisors get into this area because they've been there since the conception of the idea till the last printing of that idea. So they've been, and they have all those rules and the responsibilities to be called as the co-authorship for every research and publication that they've been getting into it. So you can also consider this particular area as a research misconduct area. And now moving into it, the last part of it, as a researcher, you'll have to make sure that you have safety and then you have security whenever you're conducting a research. There are points here. You can just quickly go through them, and these are understood when you go through those words there. Right, if you've gone through this, I'm happy. Please make sure that you get into this, the last bit of it. And with this, I come to an end. This is what is 100% important. I know the amount of time that you've been spending. I know the amount of hard work that each and every researcher has been contributing. When you have contributed, when you have given your best, it is your right to make sure that it is copyrighted. And then that there are moral rights that you have as a person, that you can be acknowledged, because credit is yours. Credit wherever credit is due. Credit wherever credit is due. Please make sure that you get it. And then the next one is patent. You might be into inventions. You might produce something new. You might invent something new. Make sure that you patent it. Don't let others take it. And then there are also trademarks that you can design, which most of us would be avoiding it during our research stage. But when you get into the business side, you can do it. And then there are design rights. All these things you must have to get your intellectual. These properties must be saved. Only when you save it, you will have a proper way of conducting yourself in a research. These are your rights. Please make sure that you keep all these points in your mind. And then if you have questions or thoughts, you can again definitely share. These are all those codes and policies that are available, where and how a research must be conducted, what rules must be followed, what are the specific codes that must be followed, everything. There are plenty of agencies and organizations which has been helping us to conduct a proper and a smooth and a successful, transparent research of integrity, research of honesty with truthfulness, and everything has been a big concern for all type of agencies there and organizations. Let's just quickly go through them, and with this I come to an end. Please make sure that we are faithful in whatever we do. Let's maintain ethics in our
poet வந்து என்ன சொல்றாரு? Earth must rest when
Can
the
you
leaves
mute, please?
Earth must rest when the earth waves.
I request you all to kindly mute. Sir, we have a question here in the chat box.
All right. Can we convert a PG project into a research paper if the project is not published by a university to which it is submitted? Okay, the minute as far as I've been watching it, the minute you submit it to a research department, to a university, you'll also be giving a CD form. So which means that you are giving the consent to the university that it goes there and it stays there and it is your research. University also has the rights. So on this part, I'll not be able to give you a concrete answer, but it is the university's rights again. So you'll have to make sure that you get their consent if you're going to do something on it and then get it published.
Sir, sorry to interrupt you. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir, please.
Sir, actually, I mailed the university also, and they said that they do not publish the project, so I can go ahead with the research paper if I want to.
Okay, if they have given you the consent, it's well and good. If
So
they
that
have given
can
you the
be done,
consent,
right?
it's well.
Okay, but still my concern is like, it might be there in LMS in the form of soft copy. So will it be a concern?
100% this will be a concern, because if there is a plagiarism check that has been conducted, it will show that this research has already been published. But that you can again talk to the publishers and you can explain it to them that this was your research and that you have furthered, that you have built on your research. So one thing that we'll always have to have in our mind is, remember that there are many other types of research misconduct that we've been doing, especially producing our own research even into small tinier bits. That is again wrong. So in your area, you can take proper consent from the university, which you have already done. And then you can also tell your publishers that this has been a part of your MA research and that you're willing to publish it. If it comes under their research ethics and their guidances, if they allow it, you are well and good to publish it, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Sure, sir.
Any questions? Okay. Yes, Stephen, thank you so much for joining us. And I'm happy that Dr. Stephen has elaborated us on research ethics and publications. Hope you all had a clear view on this. Thank you, Dr. Stephen, for joining us. Thank you so much.
Always my pleasure. Thank you, everyone. I appreciate all those participants who have gladly, willingly contributed your valuable time and spent the last 1 hour with me. It was indeed a wonderful session for me. Thank you again, coordinators and Dr. Kartika, SP Kartika, for helping me to be a part of your 8-day international team. I really enjoyed it. I am glad that this has been a wonderful event. Thank you so much. Take care. Bye-bye.
Thanks for making it very interactive. It's very
Thank
difficult to make online sessions interactive, but you have done really a wonderful job. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you. Thank you. All right. Thank you. Thank you for all those who are commenting through those chat boxes there. I really appreciate your presence and your feedback here. Thank you so much.
So good evening,
Thank
sir.
you.
It's indeed a wonderful session. We enjoyed a lot. Could you share your email ID, sir? In future?
Definitely.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Do you want me to type it on the chat box there?
Yes, sir. Please.
I'll give my personal email ID because this will always be an access, so I can. Okay. I'm just going to send me to Arun. I'm sorry, it has just gone to Arun, I guess. Where is it? To everyone? Did you get my email address?
Stephen, sir, if you send it to me, I can post it.
Thank you so much. Okay,
I'll
I can
post
do
it
that.
in a group which we have.
Oh, thank you. That's nice. My name at gmail.com. StephenJaimani@gmail.com.
Okay.
Thank you
so much for
Thank you very much.
Take care.
Participants, I'll be posting Dr. Stephen's email ID in WhatsApp group which we have got.
Hello, Kartika ma'am.
Yes, sir.
Ma'am, is it possible to share the PPTs of the last sessions and this session?
Yes, sir. At the end of the FTP, we'll be sharing the links for you in order to get access and the PPT as well.
Thank you, ma'am. Thanks so much.
We'll compile everything and send it to you as one file.
Yeah, thanks, ma'am.
Yeah. Thank you, Stephen, sir. Thank you so much. Thank you, participants.
Thank you, ma'am, and I'll take an exit. Thank you.
Yeah. Bye.